Hello everybody and welcome to a first look at the Class 350 Desiro for the new West Coast Mainline Route for Train Sim World 5. If this does happen to be the first video or stream you've seen by me, then my name's Richard, aka Dadrail, and I'm a mainline freight train driver and former passenger train driver based in the southeast of England. As always, before we jump in, I've got to tell you that all the views and opinions expressed within this video are solely my own and may not reflect those of any companies I may be employed by or associated with. Furthermore, Dovetail Games have given me the key for Train Sim World 5 and the content completely free of charge. However, they do have no editorial control over the content. If I like something, I'll tell you. Equally, if I don't like something, I will also tell you that. Anyway, that's enough chitter chatter. Let's jump into Train Sim World 5 and have a ride on the Desiro. So here we are in Train Sim World 5. Let's load up the West Coast Mainline South, London Euston to Milton Keynes. We're going to jump into timetable mode. And there we've got our Class 350 Desiro. I have done a separate video reviewing the Class 390 and looking at the DC lines, the London Euston to Watford DC lines with the Class 10, so do go and check those ones out if you want to. Right, jumping into the 350. And as you can see, we have got a really decent amount of services. You can also see on some of these trains here, we've got the little ticket icon, which means we can access those services as a guard. We are going to have a look at guard mode. That's going to be done in a separate video, so do go and check that one out. But for now, we're going to do a southbound run from Milton Keynes down to London Euston. We've done the northbound run with the Pendolino, so we're going to head south on the stopping service. So in this video, we're going to be having a look at the train, having a look at the route. We're going to be listening to those all-important sounds, checking out the systems on board the train, having a look around the cab, having a look at the interior, and sort of looking at the stations and bits and bobs as we go along. Sort of a full overview of what you'll be getting. So let's load up a Tring to London Euston, 43 minutes. That's going to be a pretty... Oh yeah, Tring. We want to go all the way up to Milton Keynes. There we go. Milton Keynes to London Euston, 7:28 departure, 1 hour and 11 minutes. So click on that. We're going to have our custom weather set to clear. And as you can see there, it's come up. We've got the option to drive, or we've got the option to be a conductor. And on this occasion, we're going to click on driver. So here we are, 2 Kilo 04, Milton Keynes Central to London Euston. This is my first proper play on this train. I have loaded it up just to make sure I can actually get it to move, but I've not really done any driving with it, so we'll discover together. So, pretty cramped cab environment as the Desiros are. I used to drive Electrostars when I was a passenger driver, so I'm sort of used to this small window where you can't see anything on the offside. So, first thing, and as always, we're going to get our safety systems turned on there. So TPWS turned on there, vigilance and driver safety device. We'll also do our TPWS round to temporary. Liking the clicks on the buttons there, that's pretty nice. And don't think we've got anything else to put in. So it all looks good on the back wall. Let's get in the chair, put our key in, into forward, into neutral. GSMR has beeped at us. We're going to open the doors on the right hand side. What else do we need to do? Headlights, that's always a good idea. I've got a habit of forgetting those. Backup day, marker light, daylight. There we go. Right, GSMR radio has preset for us, and we've got no PIS or anything to worry about. We'll have a look at the screens and stuff as we go along. Let's jump quickly into an outside view. Unfortunately, Dovetail couldn't secure the licence for the London North West Railway branding, which is a little bit irritating and frustrating. You know, they are bound by licensing rules and stuff. I suppose the alternative is if you can't get a licence, don't make the train, but that would also be a shame. So I suspect there's going to be community mods pretty quickly with a branding patch that you'll be able to get your hands on. So yeah, we are going to have a look through the inside of the train and do a few external shots as we go along. But we are approaching our departure time. Let's jump back in the cab. Get the train into forward. We've got a green and we've got an S. That's our vigilance alarm firing off there. And we'll get the closed doors. There we go. Right, stopping at location Bletchley in 3.1 miles. God willing, it's going to move. And we are off. 25 leaving Milton Keynes there. So my first impression of the sounds, I think they might be the same sounds that are used on the Class 700. I'm not overly familiar with Desiros other than on the southwestern network. I've travelled on the DC ones a fair few times. I think they're Class 450s. Sounds pretty good to me. It's got that kind of standard Siemens flying saucer sound. Oh, the race is on! Looking pretty nice from an outside point of view as well. I mean, it's definitely is a real shame about those branding patches. Would have been really nice to have that. Right, we're good for 100. And we've got 2.3 miles to go. Let's see how fast we can get. I think we'll probably get up to about 80. And then look at shutting off. Preliminary route indicator on the left hand side there, that's telling us that our next signal, the route is set to go straight ahead. So this is not a route that I sign in real life. I sign a very small part of the West Coast Mainline in the Euston area, like a very minuscule small part of it. So yeah, I'm sort of not overly familiar with the route. I have travelled on it quite a few times. But from a driver's perspective, I'm sort of winging it. I don't even know the names of all the stations, if I'm being completely honest with you. So probably worth pointing out, if you're looking for an overview of the new Trains in World 5 features, such as the route hopping, the conductor mode and everything else, I have got a video on the channel covering that. We are just looking at the Class 350 in this one. So coming down towards Bletchley, got a little bit of brake just gone in. And 0.9 miles. Yeah, brake on this does seem pretty good. One thing I do like about the West Coast Mainline is the fact we've got the local services as well as the Pendolino on here. So you get a good variety of services that you can drive. Depends whether you're in the mood to stop at all the stations or bomb up and down. They've kind of got it covered. So I'm not sure if it's coming through on the video, but I'm getting some sort of weird artifacting going on over here. Now I don't know if that's supposed to be like a reflection on the windscreen of the cab, or whether that's something a bit buggy. I'm not sure if you can see that on the video, but it's a little bit irritating. Right, we're coming in max brakes. I was too busy looking at... I think that is a reflection on the windscreen, actually. Too busy looking at reflections on the windscreen instead of driving the train. This is why I drive freight trains for a living. But it's all on the platform, so it's all good. It's all good. Please stop. Give the passengers a bit of a walk. And unlocking doors on the left hand side. Right, okay, we've got a minute or so here, so let's quickly jump out and go for a little look round Bletchley. Pendolino bombing past on the other platform there. Beautiful stuff. I'm liking the cages around the signals, which is pretty standard in areas where you've got overhead line equipment. Station looks pretty busy, got a good amount of AI traffic going on. Someone with a coffee there. I've not been to Bletchley, but it does look pretty good, standing a bit close to the edge of the platform there. But yeah, I'm sort of liking what I see. I think I could spend a lot of time actually exploring the stations and looking around, but it's nice to kind of get an overview of what's happening. Got an aggregates terminal there as well, so I assume we've possibly got Class 66 services in or out of there. I haven't actually had a look at the freight layers yet, if I'm being honest. The overhead line equipment does look pretty smart as well. I think they've done a pretty decent job with that. Right, that is our vigilance alarm going off. Let's get the doors locked and get on our way. We'll do an outside pull away on this one so we can hear the motor sounds from the outside. Let's get a decent camera angle. There we go. Well, that was a bit of a fail. I said we'll hear the motor noises, and the Pendolino kind of drowned us out a little bit. Oh, but she's looking pretty smart. Another one going the other way there. Right, we're off to Leighton Buzzard, 5.6 miles. And we're good for 100 miles an hour. So I've just seen the TPWS grids on the track there, which would be the overspeed sensors for this signal coming up. I don't know if TPWS is functioning on this route. I haven't had a chance to test it yet. What we'll do, if I remember, and I'm really bad at remembering things, is when we get down to London Euston, we'll approach the buffer stops a little bit too fast and see if the TPWS fires off. Yeah, nice clickety-clack over the points there. That's something that I've been quite vocal about in the past. So it's nice that we've got sound effects, running noises going over the points. I have seen on some of the comment section, people are saying about the draw distance on the route, the distance you can see ahead of you to be quite limited. I mean, to me it looks pretty decent. I can sort of see plenty far enough ahead. But that was one of the criticisms that I had read. I think my biggest thing with the route at the moment, I do like the route. This is my second time running it. I run it in the northbound direction in the Pendolino, first time in the southbound direction and on the slow lines. My biggest thing is it's probably a little bit clean. I would say that there should be a lot more sort of clutter and bits and bobs lying around and stuff like that. It does look a little bit sort of too clean. But overall, from what I've seen on the route, I'm really impressed with it, and I think it's got a lot of replayability to it. I think being that you've got the fast services, the slow services, you've got the DC lines, you've got freight layers, I think it's definitely got the ability to be a route that I come back to over and over again. Of course, and if you watch the Pendolino stream, I am repeating a lot of what I said. Of course, I would like it to have gone further north. It would have been great if they'd done all the way through to Birmingham. You know, there is that balance, isn't there, between, you know, if you make a longer route, you've got to charge more money for it, it takes longer to develop. There comes a point when you've got to kind of say, we draw the line. And I know everyone's going to say, well, they went to Birmingham on Train Sim Classic, but developing routes for Train Sim Classic and developing routes for Train Sim World is completely different. Obviously, Train Sim Classic, you've only got to worry about what you can see out the cab. Train Sim World, you've got to worry about all your stations, being able to get around, get out and walk around and bits and bobs. So there's a lot more that goes into developing for the game. Hopefully we'll see maybe a West Coast Mainline Central, West Coast Mainline North. Obviously we do have the Just Trains route coming out, covering Preston to Carlisle, although set in a different era. I'm sure we can do some funky things on it though. Definitely be getting some of the electric traction on the south section here as well. That's coming with the Just Trains route. Right, 1.6 miles to Leighton Buzzard. We are going to try and run on time, but if you've seen my streams or videos before, you will know that it's a rare thing. And what we'll do is once we leave Leighton Buzzard, we'll have a little look around the cab and all the systems within the cab. We'll have a look at the TMS system and see what switches and buttons we can play with. What's the lighting in the tunnel like? Yeah, pretty decent. The lighting on the dash looks quite nice. Definitely leaving my braking a little bit late here. See, I've just said I'm leaving my braking a little bit late, and then I'm coming off the brakes because I put way too much in. Good amount of AI traffic going on as well. I sort of, at the beginning of the Pendolino video, I think I unfairly said there wasn't much AI traffic, but as I've driven the route more and more, there definitely is a good amount of AI traffic going on. Right, we are a 4-car unit. We're looking for the 4-car mark on the left-hand side as we come into Leighton Buzzard. There we go. A little bit over the stop car mark, but we are running on time. Again, having a little look around Leighton Buzzard there, we've got these lovely multi-storey car parks that are popping up at nearly all stations. Certainly in my neck of the woods they are. Good amount of foliage as well, and I think the foliage looks quite nice. Be interesting to see this route in the autumn conditions of the winter. I've yet to do that. So I am going to be doing a live stream on this. If you're watching this video on release day, the live stream's probably is going to happen on release day of the game, the early access release day. So if you are watching this video in the future, then do go back and check that out. We're doing a bumper live stream where we're going to be looking at the weather conditions. We're going to be trying to couple things together and do all sorts of funky stuff. Yeah, stations are looking really nice. I think they've done a pretty good job with the stations. My vigilance alarm going off there. Got to check if these elevators work. I'm not sure if they do. It's something we've got to check. And there we go, off to Cheddington. Nice ambient noises on the station as well. We've got people chatting away, which is really good. Gives it a bit of atmosphere. The only thing we haven't got is announcements. Of course, it would be fantastic to get those into game. So I'm hoping at some point in the future we are going to see announcements. It adds so much to the atmosphere, in my opinion, and the realism. Yeah, this is definitely a reflection on the window here. I'm not sure if I'm keen on it, though. I mean, I sort of understand why it's there. I don't know if I'm keen on the effect. It looks like something's glitching out. So we did have an AWS horn vice bell on that signal. We had the DSD went off at the same time, I noticed, but we had the AWS horn instead of a bell. So that would be classed in real life as a signalling irregularity. So it could be a bug on that signal, or it could be another reason it went off that I don't know about. Maybe it does in real life. It goes off as a horn vice bell. Normally on a green, though, you would expect a bell, which is your nice bing sound. Let's see what we get on this signal. Yeah, that's what I would have expected on the previous one. Okay, 2.5 miles to Cheddington. Let's start having a little look around the cab and what we've got. This is where it all goes wrong. Okay, another AWS horn for... that's for the speed restriction there. Okay, that one makes sense to me. So we'll start on the back wall. We've got a range of miniature circuit breakers there. Doesn't look like any of those are clickable, which is not too much of an issue. Fan speed, temperature select. Got a bit of sound effect going on of those as well, which is nice. Battery on, battery off. We can select AC and DC power, so we can do the changeover on them on DCs. Southwestern Mainline add-on when. ED brake normal, TCU, lamp test. Lamp test we can do, makes everything light up, that's nice. And of course our cab light. Right, let's get stopped at Cheddington and then we'll have another look round. Carry on our look round the cab. We'll see if we can get the braking right by the end of the stream. Yeah, we're still doing like 70. That's tea and biscuits with the manager. I said there's a reason I drive freight trains now. We would call this, I think the official term for what we're doing now is maximising Or using the full potential of the train to maximise efficiency. Cheddington! Unlock the doors. We are all stopped. Again, good looking station. Lots of nice foliage.
Your attention, please.
We've got the fast line platforms over there.
Is in use at this station for your personal safety and security.
Generic announcements going off. We do seem to have more variety in the NPCs as well, the non-player characters, which is good. I'm definitely here for that. They all seem to be behaving themselves as well. Don't seem to be bugging out too much. Footbridges are normally a prime place for characters bugging out. They're bumping into each other a little bit, but nothing too bad. Nothing that kind of ruins the experience, I would say. Weird sort of flying saucer antenna of some description there. That's a little bit on the odd side. Okay, so we've got a couple of minutes until we head off. We've got about... Yeah, we are quite early, aren't we? So we are going to be calling at Tring, Berkhamsted, Hemel Hempstead, Apsley, sorry, Kings Langley, Watford Junction, Bushy, Harrow and Wealdstone, and then London Euston. So let's continue our little tour around the cabs. We've had a look at the back panel there. Up here we've got a range of different fault lights. Don't know how many of those are functional. We've got our different alarm sounders up there. Looks like this would have been some sort of like TMS or some sort of screen, or maybe CCTV, DOO CCTV monitors that have been boarded up there. So coming around on the cab, door release left, door release left. Doors locked. On or off. Not sure what that does. I've got a funny feeling that might be something to do if you've got a short platform. Close doors button. Got a signal bell going on there. DRA. We've got our wipers there. Slow, quick. Oh, nice squeak noise on the dry wipe there. Have we got washers? Oh, we haven't. We've got windscreen heater. I don't know whether that actually works, whether the windscreens do get misted up. Misting up of windscreens and sort of dirty windscreens and windscreen washers, I think they'd be quite easy to implement, but I think it would be one of those features that would generally just be pretty cool. So coming around, we've got our power brake controller there. We've got stepped power, and we've got a stepless brake. So it just goes from 0 to 100. Master key and our reverser. Little hill start button there, which Yep, hill start is functional. So I'm using the at key on my keyboard to get that to work. And we'll do an internal pull away, and I'll be quiet so you can hear the motors. There we go. Okay, 4.2 miles to Tring. So carrying on around the cab, we got our desk light dimmer, which I believe is functional, so that dims and brightens our lights. These are actually quite useful on real trains, these desk light dimmers. If you're driving at night, it's sort of, you know, really dark route, if it's horrible and wet outside and the lights are sort of really in your face, you can dim the lights down, which does help. Cab light, instrument and desk and timetable off. You see the lights coming on over there. Let's turn those on. You sort of can't see the dimmer function in there, but I believe that does work. Cab equipment off. We've got headlights, marker lights. Tail lights on, tail lights off. Okay, tail lights off. Is that for the front of the train or the back? Yeah, that affects this cab by the looks of it. Hazard lights. Fully functional. It's a bad day at the office if you have to use those. Safety system isolated lights, couple, uncouple, HAVAC and AWS acknowledge. Warning horn. We can do Darth Vader tunes. Yeah, pretty standard Desiro cab layout. We've just got this panel on the right here. So at the top we've got our door key switch, so that's for our guards panel. I haven't even played with the guards mode yet. I said I've got a video out on it, but at the time of recording this video I have not played with guards mode. So that's something to look forward to, sort of how that's going to function and how that's going to work. GSMR radio, again, we don't have a great deal of functionality on this. We've kind of just got the standard brightness and volume controls. We don't have to register or anything. Something I'd really like is to be able to register, but we don't have to do that. And then coming down, we've got our door panel for the right hand side, and enable SMS, what, non-driver side wiper. There we go. And MRDC, main res drain cock. Oh, we're speeding. Let's get some braking. Yeah, so if your cab controls fail and everything's gone horribly wrong, you can open that box there, and there's a an isolating cock in there, and you can pull that round. That will dump all of the air on the train and cause the parking brakes to apply. So the parking brakes are sprung, apply, air released. So it'll cause the parking brakes to fully apply and then stop the train mechanically. So you don't need any of the electrical or air systems. Right, coming into Tring. I think the only thing we've got left to have a look at is our TMS computer up there, which we will do once we leave Tring. So I think my first memory of playing this route on any sort of train simulator would have been on the original BVE, BVE 2. And there was a West Coast Mainline South which went from Watford Junction to Milton Keynes. Great simulator, in my opinion. Okay, I'm going to nip into photo mode really quickly because I do like to point things out that are not right. This is very, very, very wrong. So as you can see here, we've got a ground position light signal, sometimes called a, see if I can get a better view, sometimes called a shunt dummy, sometimes called a dolly or a peg or a dot, depending on what area you are in the country. Ground position light signal, that should be showing a proceed aspect. So we're currently running on main aspect signals. Our last signal was green, so therefore any shunt signals on our route should be cleared for our movement. We've got US, so we've got an indicator in it, which again sometimes you would have, sometimes you wouldn't, but that would not be at danger. Passing that in real life would be classed as a SPAD. However, it would not be our fault as the driver. It would be like a technical SPAD. It would be down to the signalling equipment or the signaller. So yeah, that is incorrect. That should be showing a proceed aspect. And although I've said it loads of times before, I am going to get around to making the train drivers rules video, so if you want to know more about signalling and stuff like that, do give us a like and a subscribe. That would be pretty awesome. And I will eventually get around to making those videos. We have massively overshot our stopping point once again. Dad rail, always going the extra mile, which is not a good thing when you're a train driver. Okay, we are all stopped. We are way past the fort, and our door's on the right-hand side of the train. So having a look around Tring, let's jump into our external camera. We've got a couple of sidings there, non-electrified. Pendolino coming the other way. Ooh. Stand behind the yellow line, please. Nice. Yeah, obviously you just seen there we have got 350 services that are going down the fast lines as well. We don't have to do the stoppers, which is pretty good to have that level of variation. I do like the LNER green. I think it's quite nice. I think the station colours are... I don't know. I just like it. I like it. Yeah, train is looking pretty good. Yeah, I think the station modelling on here is good. I'm genuinely impressed with the station modelling. Again, a little bit too clean, if anything. But, you know, it's just personal preference. It's the same when you do model railways, isn't it? Some people like all their models weathered and beaten up, and other people like them looking pristine. So I guess it's a personal preference, really. Right, well, we'll get on our way, and then we'll jump in and have a look at the train management system. See what functionality we've got on that. Right, we're off to Berkhamsted in 3.6 miles. So above the GSMR here, we've got our cab communications unit, PA, stuff like that. No functionality on there. Now we do have the ability to just click view screen and it will take us in. I like this feature. I like this feature very much. But what I have noticed, if you're in this screen here, you can't acknowledge the vigilance or the AWS or anything. You are absolutely stuck. So that is a little bit irritating. Right, let's see what we've got. So voltage current, that's working, giving us what we want. Driving braking, giving us some indications there. Brake system, dynamic brake isolated. Doesn't look like it'll actually let us isolate anything, but that's okay. Door system. Yeah, we can't actually click anything or isolate anything on there, but it does come up telling us what is what. Main system. Pantograph is up. Vacuum circuit breaker. We've got an air conditioning option there, which we can't press. Lighting. And we have to come out of that screen in order to acknowledge the DSD, which is really annoying. It's a shame we can't do it from within the screen. Lighting, interior lighting, lighting on, lighting off. There you go. So we should probably turn that on. So we've got some functionality with that. Driver ID number. Let's just put a driver ID number in. So part of your cab setup should be to enter your driver ID number into there. C to cancel. There we go. Gives us what lights we've got on and stuff there. Tells us whether we're slowing down or speeding up. Got the time. Yeah, no passenger information system or anything like that, or automatic announcements, which is a little bit of a shame in my opinion. What am I doing? Trying to find the right button to get out of that menu. There we go. Right, 1.2 miles away from Berkhamsted. What are we doing? 80 miles an hour. Let's get a little bit of braking. Let's see if we can actually master this driving and get some decent station stops. There we go, we're about 60% brake. That's, in an ideal world, we are going to need some more, but in an ideal world you don't want to be using more than sort of 50-60% of your available brake force. If you're coming into every station using everything you've got, then you've got nothing in reserve. So if you do end up overcooking it, which inevitably I am doing consistently on this journey, you always want to have something in reserve. Well, it's the best stop of the day so far. Let's get alongside the doors before we open so we can watch the door animations happening. And there we go. We will go through for a wander through the train as well and have a good look around. There's your defibrillator there, which is one of your extra tasks you can go back and do. Yeah, good amount of NPCs. I'm liking the variation in the NPCs. It's like they've definitely done some work on that. Colourful bicycles. Looking good. Let's jump back in our cab and get underway. So next station will be Hemel Hempstead, followed by Apsley, Kings Langley, and then Watford Junction. And we're green on Whiskey Tango 5156 signal. And there's our 100 board. And the sign on the left there is telling us that we've got a neutral section coming up. So we'll get the same sign with a white background. And what we should do while we're passing through the neutral section is just shut back the power. So the neutral section is it's a section of overhead line which is effectively neutral. It has no power running through it, and the reason you have that is to divide the overhead line up into electrical sections, so each section can be electronically isolated. We've got a pylon there with no wires on it. That's always... That's something we saw in Fife Circle, pylons with no wires. It's little details like that that sometimes get forgotten. I mean, maybe it's a performance thing, I don't know, but it just seems like we could have wires on the pylons. Or maybe they're brand new pylons. It's electricity coming soon. Getting a pretty decent frame rate on the route at the moment, so I am recording this on the same computer that I'm playing the game on. I'm currently getting about 45-50 FPS. You might be able to see it on the recording, actually, on the video. My frame rate does get a little bit upset once we get down near Wembley. It will drop off a fair bit. Yeah, this is a route I need to spend a little bit of time learning and sort of getting to know my my braking locations. As we come into Hemel Hempstead. With the way I've been driving, everyone's spilt their coffee. At least we're on time though. All stop. All stop. Got some sort of good stock over here. It's looking good. Keep out. It's just asking for me to try and get in there, isn't it? You put a keep out sign on there, it's just you want to go in there if it says keep out. It's that whole kind of reverse psychology thing. I remember I went to the Science Museum a few years ago and they had an exhibit, and on this exhibit it's basically got this big red button that says do not touch. And yeah, everyone's touching it, of course. Yeah, another station looking pretty good. I must say, from a scenery point of view, I think the route is doing well. It's just a shame we don't have the branding on the signs. Another 350 heading up in the opposite direction there. Right, so we are Apsley, Kings Langley, Watford Junction, Bushy Harrow, Millstone, London Euston. Let's get her going. 1.3 miles to our next station stop. Clickety click on the points. Makes me happy. I think this could quickly become one of my favourite routes in game, because it's that whole variety factor, like I was saying earlier. You know, there's so much you can do with this, and the West Coast Mainline, you can pretty much chuck any combination of rail tour or whatever else you like on it. And we shut off power. Let's see if we can. I know I've said it at every station, but I'm determined to get at least one decent stop today. Yes, I'm always interested to hear your thoughts and comments. Just put one of those signs up, how's my driving, phone this number. No, definitely not. Always interested to hear your thoughts and comments on the route and the traction. If you do travel this route often or travel on these trains often, I'm always interested to hear what you think. See, I kind of give you my opinion, like with the signalling stuff, my sort of opinion as a train driver, as well as my opinion as a train sim player. Because it's kind of, you know, it's kind of good to have both those perspectives, because as much as we want this to be realistic and we want it to be perfect, you know, it's a game. There are always going to be limitations to what you can and can't do, you know, and there's always going to have to be compromise at some point, you know. So I'll kind of give you my opinion as a player of the game, you know, and whether I can enjoy it or whether it's completely terrible or whether it's broken. So yeah, I try not to get sort of sucked into all the, oh, this is wrong with it, that's wrong with it, that's wrong with it, that's wrong with it. I think you're always going to find fault. I think there are some faults that, you know, there are some faults that absolutely shouldn't be there and shouldn't happen, and there are some things which, you know, bugs obviously we don't want, but if there's a slight issue with the route, like something's not quite in the right place and bits and bobs like that, I think we can, you know, kind of forgive things like that. It's kind of where do you draw that line, you know? Closing doors 30 seconds prior to departure. But we are going to have a right time departure still, though. And we're off to Kings Langley, as we got the Pendolino heading through the other platform. Oh, we got bowled. It's quite nice having the 4 tracks and getting overtaken regularly by other trains. I've just seen the signal go back from green to red there on the up fast. And we shut the power off, heading down towards Kings Langley. I think when we get to Kings Langley, we'll go for a little walk through the train. Go and have a look at the interior. And that all-important Train Sim World question, can you get in the toilets? I suspect not. It's if you're new to Train Sim World, the whole can you get in the toilets on the train, it's been a running gag for a long time. Okay, this is looking a little bit better. Bit of a weird thing going on with the ballast on the left-hand side. It's kind of not blending too well there. Oh, we've got a stepped banner as well. That's telling us we'll be taking the route. We'll be taking the route to the right. I've just said it was looking good, and I've just gone into emergency. Demonstrating the emergency brake. Unlocking doors on the left. Right, okay, let's jump up out our seat. We should definitely be putting the train into neutral before we do that. We've got a minute or so, so let's jump up, carry on looking around the cab here. So we've got a paddle, which is used for lifting the third rail shoe gear, and a short-circuiting bar, which is something you also use on third rail for taking emergency isolations. So effectively, you use this to create a short circuit between the running rail and the third rail, which makes the substations go bang, but it gets the power off pretty quick in an emergency. Horn on the second person side, speedo, door key switch, that's for your guard, unit touch tag. These would be used for logging into the data recorder. So rather than putting your pin in, drivers would have their individual cards. Track circuit operating clips, safety equipment.
And can cause turbulence.
And into the passenger compartment. Welcome aboard this service to London Euston. Calling out Watford Junction, Bushy, Harrow and Millstone, and London Euston. And it's working on the screens there as well. Right. We are due to depart. We'll head back that way in a little while. Right, speed limit is 75, rising to 90. We're 3.4 miles away from Watford Junction. Yeah, the kind of I was saying as we were coming in, the ballast on the left-hand side there looks like it's not very well blended. There's kind of a real definitive line going on. It's things like that, you know, that we could be really, really critical about. Yeah, it's not great, it's not ideal, but does it make it a broken game that's absolutely terrible? Well, no, it doesn't, you know. It's I think it's a really, really difficult one to call. And we've got a tri-state banner repeater there, so the background being green tells us that our next signal is showing proceed and green. Well, it is a proceed aspect and is a green proceed aspect. And we're going to shut off power there because we've got a 70, a little bit of brake. Coming right into the tunnel. Another Desiro merging out the tunnel there. So we're good for 90 through the tunnel, drops to 75 the other side of the tunnel. This would be a good time to check out the dimmer. Instrument and desk lights. Yeah, that is most definitely functioning. And I'm just going to shut back the power there. We are approaching 90 pretty quickly, and we are going to drop to 75 as we come out the tunnel. Let's drop a bit of brake in. Here we go. and 1.1 miles to Watford Junction. So we should start picking up the Class 710s at Watford Junction on the DC line, so we should see a bit more AI traffic from the 710s. And then when we get down to Harrow and Wealdstone, we should start seeing the Bakerloo line trains as well. We're getting a little bit of braking for Watford Junction. I did notice on the Pendolino stream there was a railway enthusiast slash train spotter slash type person on the platform here with a camera, which made me very, very happy, because that is something I've mentioned quite often. Let's see if they're still here. They are. It's the little things, but that makes me happy. I think Watford Junction, I did look around this one on the Pendolino stream. We are going to jump out again. If we actually manage to stop in the platform. I think Watford Junction, like all the stations on the route, it's been really well done. Unlocking doors on the left. Right, okay. Let's put the train in neutral before we jump out this time. Pendolino flying through on the other side. No 710s in the platform at the moment. You get the 710s on the so-called DC lines, called the DC lines because they've got the 750 volt DC third rail system. Watford Junction, yeah, does look pretty decent in my opinion. Again, it's not an area I'm massively familiar with. I've been here a couple of times. Network Rail Signalling School, or one of their signalling schools, was or is based in Watford Junction, incidentally. Yeah, the kind of iconic building at Watford Junction there. Let's go and speak to our rail fan friend at the end of the platform. That's pretty cool. He's been standing there for a long time. There's obviously a rail tour or something coming through. I have said we've kind of got the diorama feature that they put inside cafes and shops and places like that. Having dioramas on the end of platforms, and when you're operating a rail tour service, having lots of enthusiasts would be really cool. I mean, that game, I've just not seen it, but it quite possibly is a thing in game. Right, okay. We're locking doors. We're heading down to Bushy. We still need to have a walk through the train yet. We haven't done that. I haven't forgotten though. And testing our TPWS loops when we get down to London Euston. So 1.1 mile to Bushy, not very far at all. And don't forget, if you do want to see the Class 710 on the DC line, so Watford Junction down to London Euston via the DC lines, then there is another video on the channel covering that. And then we have our Southern 377 with its pantograph up. We finally get some AC action for the 377 on the Milton Keynes service. So my frame rate is probably going to start to tank a little bit as we come down towards Wembley in London. We'll see how we get on. Oh, this is looking good. We might have our first decent stop. I'm not going to speak too soon. We might have our first decent stop of the run. Right, we're a 4-car mark heading for 4-car train heading for the 4-car mark, which is much further down the platform than I was expecting it to be. So we're now creeping along. Or did we miss it? No, we haven't got a 4-car mark. We've just got an 8. Not completely unusual in real life not to have a 4, just to have an 8 and a 12. I mean, it's not common, but I have seen it in places. So whether that's an omission on the dev side or whether that's exactly how it is at Bushy, I'm not entirely sure. I couldn't say. And there's the DC lines over to our left there going round the corner. So the DC lines go through Bushy, then they go round the corner through Watford High Street, I think the station is called, and then into Watford Junction. And that is all modelled on the route. Right, we're locking doors. We are off to Harrow and Willstone, which hopefully we're going to pick up some Bakerloo line traffic or a Class 710. £90 miles an hour, 4.2 miles to go. And we're passing through station, what the station is called. But one of the great things, of course, about Tracing World 5 and one of the new core features is if we don't know what the station's called, we can just look in the map. Carpenter's Park. Because we now have labels on the map, which is something that should have been in game since day one, in my opinion. But I'm pleased we finally got it. It's kind of nice to know where you are. Now it's going to be my first time driving into London Euston in the up direction here. Another station coming out. We can jump into our map and see what we've got. Hatch End, that one there. I feel like I've been to Hatch End. I have been to Hatch End. London Transport Rail Race. Video on the channel. That was an interesting day out. And this one, I believe, South Kenton or Headstone Lane. Okay, I'm completely wrong. Yeah, London Transport Rail Race. Video on the channel. That is a good day out. Still haven't passed any 710s or Bakerloo line services. Starting to. What is that coming on the right hand side there? Is that a Pendolino? Definitely driving it like I stole it. We've got no stop car marks at all here at Harrow and Woolstone. Again, that could be... Oh no, tell a lie, we do. I've just failed to see them. Okay, we've got a minute or so here, so let's do... We've been promising to do it the whole time. Let's put the train into neutral first. Let's go for a little wander through the interior. Hello. Wandering through, wandering through, wandering through. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad as interiors go. Can we open the doors on the wrong side? No! That is one of my biggest bugbears when we're able to do that. Functioning toilet? No, can't do that. Yeah, not a bad looking interior. It's annoying about the doors. I'll be completely honest. That is one of my bugbears on routes is when you can open doors like that. Oh no, I think I might have been wrong about the stop car markers. That was the signal identification plate I was looking at. Yes, so no, there are no stop car markers here at Harrow and Woolstone. Hoping we do see a Bakerloo line train and a 710. And we are fast to London Euston. Let's get going. So if we don't pass any Bakerloo line trains or Class 710s, it's because I don't have those layers installed. I did have those layers installed. However, my game has done an update, so I think I might have... Oh no, there's a 710. We're in business. All is good. Just need to see the Bakerloo line train now. Yeah, I think going forward for this route, Class 92 Cali sleepers, I can't see that happening, but that would be pretty awesome. A Voyager, I'd like to see a Voyager in game. That would fit in quite nicely on this route and this and many others. A lot of potential for what you could do. There's the Bakerloo line trains. There you go. So I do have all the correct layers installed, thankfully. I think the one thing I would like to see at the moment, so again I'm using logical thought here. The one thing I would like to see at the moment, we've got the East Coastway route, sorry, the Brighton Mainline route. We've got the Gospel Oak, we've got the Great Western, and we've got the West Coast Mainline, all in sort of London-y area. The one route you need is the North London line. If you had the North London line, you could link them all together. And with the new mode where you can what do they call it? The route hopping, where you can hop between routes. That would be such a perfect route. You could drive a train up from Eastbourne on the East Coastway, all the way into Brighton, just coming to Wembley Central. Route hop onto the Brighton main line up to Clapham Junction. Route hop onto the North London line / West London line up to Willesden. Route hop back onto this route. You know, you'll travel down to Gospel Oak, route hop onto the Goblin, or get the Poplar Spur down to Acton Main Line. So much you could do with that. So just coming past Wembley Depot now, my frame rate has dropped down to about 25 FPS. I knew it would because it's very intensive around here. Although it's still quite playable at this frame rate, I must say. So Wembley Depot does look pretty empty. I mean, it doesn't look completely empty, but it does look pretty empty. But I should imagine a lot of that is down to performance. I mean, even without a huge amount of trains in there, my performance has tanked a little bit. You know, the amount of cantinery you've got in there, overheads, tracks, scenery, yeah, putting a lot of trains in there I think would probably just kill it. So obviously there's considerations like that to make. Once we get clear of the Wembley area, hopefully the frame rate should improve a little bit. So on the right, in real life down here, you've got a McVitie's factory, and you can smell the biscuits if you come past. Right, we're 75, 90, 75. I think I'm just going to keep the speed about 75. We're running on time, so don't need to rush too much. Princess Royal Postal Depot off to our left-hand side. That's all mothballed and closed up. And off to our right-hand side, we've got the Euston Euro Terminal. So Euston TMD coming up on our left-hand side. Not yet. I'm a little bit. I'm in the wrong place. Euston Euro Terminal on the right-hand side over there. So you can just about see Euston Junction on the DC lines. And we're going to pass under the North London lines, which is definitely the add-on we need. Euston TMD to your left, and just off to your right hand side in the direction of travel, seeing going off around the right, that is the West London line down to Kensington, Olympia and Clapham Junction. And that is exactly what we need in game, West London / North London line add-on. I'd 100% be there for that. So I said it on the Pendolino stream, I'll repeat it again on this one. The area we've just come past is known as Southwest Sidings. There are quite a few inaccuracies. Some of the lines there have got overhead lines when they shouldn't have. Some of them haven't got overheads when they should have. Again, it could be a kind of a scenery looks a bit sparse, which could be a performance issue. But it's one of those things. Would you actually, unless you were driving trains through there, would you actually notice? Right, 3.6 miles to London Euston. Coming down towards Queen's Park, which is where the Bakerloo line dives underground. Not to be seen again until Elephant and Castle. And we're coming down towards, I forget the names of these tunnels, but I want to say Primrose Hill or Camden. We're kind of in that area. Yeah, loading in the next tiles now, so it is getting a little bit stuttery for me. Not too bad, nothing that's unplayable, but it's noticeable. Yeah, we've got a 710 over there on our left. Does it give us the names of the tunnels in the South Hampstead we've just gone through? No, it doesn't give us tunnel names on the mini-map, which is a little bit of a shame. That would be pretty cool if it did. And we've got a 40 just as we come out of the tunnel. So I'm hopeful that the 360 as well as the Pendolino are going to overlay onto the Birmingham Cross City line eventually. And I think the Pendolino, we're going to see that on Cathcart. Cathcart down at Glasgow Central is already rife with traffic, so that will be pretty awesome to see that on there. And we've got the kind of spider web of track as we come down towards London Euston. Just watching those graders. Okay, we've got a green, we've got a B. That's taking us in on B section, which is the second line from the left. Nice flange squill as well as we're coming round. And we've got the depot off to our right hand side there. And we're staying on B section, which as I said earlier is the second track from the left hand side. So your lines are A, B, C, D, E and F I believe at Euston. Again, don't sign this in real life, so making it up as I go along. 2 yellows. Got a B. Should get a platform number on the next signal. And we are going to make a point of going in a little bit too fast and trying to trip the TPWS loops just to verify if that is a thing in game or not. And there we go, 1 yellow. We are going in on platform number 8. All the construction site off to the right hand side there is your high speed 2 construction. And we're 25 coming down into Euston. Loving the flange squill effect. So coming into a terminal station, we want to be doing no more than 15 miles an hour at the platform ramps and 10 miles an hour at the TPWS grids. But we are going to try and trigger the TPWS grids to see if that is working in game. And there's our 15 boards. And if we're above 10, the TPWS grids should trip out and stop the train. So just about see the grids coming up in the forefoot there. We're doing 15 miles an hour. What I'm expecting to happen is that red light to start flashing at us. There we go. It's not flashing. That would be flashing in real life, but that's proof. TPWS is fitted and it works. We've got a 60-second timeout on that. We can't do anything for 60 seconds. The train's in the platform, so we are going to release our doors. In reality, if you have a TPWS activation going towards buffer stops, that is the one time you can move the train. Once the TPWS 60-second timeout is finished, you can move the train towards the buffer stops without contacting the signaller. That's the only time you're able to do that. Right, okay, we will see what it wants us to do. We're going to have a quick look around Euston and then we shall wrap it up. It's going to get me to lock doors. Euston, we have a problem. Okay, platinum medal. I'll absolutely take that. A little bit of speeding. Some really harsh station stops. Right, okay, we're going to return to free roam. We are just going to go and have a little nosy around Euston, which I must say could do with a little bit more passenger traffic, I reckon, but overall it's a decent representation. And we can come into the station concourse. It's not 100%, but it's not a bad representation at all. Again, you know, it's really sparse on the passenger numbers. Whether that's a performance issue or what, I don't know. How far out is modelled? How far out the station can we go? Can we go into Euston Square? No, the camera is clipping us out there. We can't go any further than that. Let's sneak around and try the other door. Yeah, no, it's not letting us out the front of the station, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, it's definitely a good representation. It is a good representation. Just seems a bit sparse on the people there, but never mind, never mind. There we go, guys. That is the Class 350 for the West Coast Mainline for Train Sim World number 5. Always interested to hear your comments and thoughts. Do post those down in the comment section below. If you have enjoyed this video, let's put the train in neutral. If you have enjoyed this video, do please hit the like button, consider subscribing. That would be absolutely awesome. If you want to talk about Train Sim World 5, talk about trains in general, you can join our very friendly Discord server. You'll find an invitation link down in the description below. And if you want to find out more about my day-to-day life as a train driver and what antics I'm getting up to, you can follow me on my social media channels, which are on the screen for you right now. If you do want to see the Class 390 video, you want to see the 710, the Bakerloo line, and all the kind of guard mode features, there are videos covering all of that on the channel now. If they're not out now, they will be out in the next couple of hours. And if you are watching this video as it releases, don't forget about the live stream. We're going to be doing a few live streams on Train Sim World 5 over the next couple of days, and it'll be great to see you in one of those. Anyway, there we go, guys. Until next time, thank you very much for watching, and remember, create, share, and inspire. Bye for now.